Hey everybody, I'm Kelsey. I'm the kids director at Acts Church, and I'm going to read to you today in 1 Corinthians chapter 13. But I was just wondering, do you guys watch daily with your kids around? Are they watching you watch daily? If they are, what do they think? Do they join in? Do they watch? Let us know in the comments below and tell us what they're thinking. Before we jump in, let's say a prayer. Lord, I just ask that you free our minds of distractions today as we listen to your word and that we gain wisdom, and just help us keep this a habit in our lives that we're constantly reaching to the Bible for you, Lord. We just thank you so much for all we do, all you do. We love you. Amen. Love is the greatest. If I could speak all the languages of the earth and angels, but didn't love others, I would only be a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. If I had the gift of prophecy, and if I understood all of God's secret plans and possessed all knowledge, and if I had such faith that I could move mountains, but didn't love others, I would be nothing. If I gave everything I have to the poor and even sacrificed my body, I could boast about it, but if I didn't love others, I would have gained nothing. Love is patient and kind. Love is not jealous or boastful or proud or rude. It does not demand its own way. It is not irritable, and it keeps no record of being wronged. It does not rejoice about injustice, but rejoices whenever the truth wins out. Love never gives up, never loses faith, is always hopeful, and endures through every circumstance. Prophecy and speaking in unknown languages and special knowledge will become useless, but love will last forever. Now our knowledge is partial and incomplete, and even the gift of prophecy reveals only part of the whole picture. But when the time of perfection comes, these partial things will become useless. When I was a child, I spoke and I thought and I reasoned as a child. But when I grew up, I put away childish things. Now we see things imperfectly, like puzzling reflections in a mirror. But then we will see everything with perfect clarity. All that I know now is partial and incomplete. But then I will know everything completely, just as God now knows me completely. 3 things will last forever: faith, hope, and love. And the greatest of these is love.
You have likely heard this chapter read at tons of weddings you've been at for sure in the past. But honestly, I think if Paul was here today, he'd probably slap us and be like, I meant something so much bigger than just for this to be read at weddings. It's so much more important than that. It's kind of a continuation of what he was talking about in chapter 12 and in previous chapters about these spiritual gifts. But he wants to talk about something really foundational that's even more important than that. Kind of saying if you're just focused on like the spiritual gifts or accomplishing something awesome for God, you might be missing something that's even more important. In fact, he starts this by first of all saying, like, I could speak in all these crazy unknown languages, right? But if it wasn't about love, I'd be missing it. Basically, he says I could speak amazing words, but they would mean nothing if it wasn't for the love. He kind of says this: if I had the gift of prophecy, right? I understood God's secret plans. If I had faith that could move mountains, but if I didn't love others, I'd be nobody. Basically, he says, I could be this amazing person of faith where people would look up to me. I could accomplish these kind of crazy things like great faith. But if love wasn't at the root of it, I'd still just be a nobody in God's kingdom, because love is what's so important. And in fact, in the last part, he kind of says, if I gave up everything to the poor, if I sacrificed my own body, he said, but if I didn't love others, I would have gained nothing. Basically, the idea is saying, I could do these amazing things for God's kingdom, but my account would still be sitting at 0 if it wasn't based on love. He says all of this rests on that foundation. That he says to you right now, you can be really focused on these spiritual gifts, but let's not forget the fact that love is really underneath of all of this. I mean, in fact, verse 8, he says prophecy, speaking an unknown language, and special knowledge, they'll become useless. They're all going to end when we go to heaven. But love will last forever. He says those are for temporary here and now to spread the gospel. But make sure that we're not missing the big picture, which is love. Now, love is just a word, right? So it's great because he actually defines it for us. He kind of gives us 6 different characteristics of what love looks like in this section. He says this: love is patient and kind. Love is not jealous or boastful or proud or rude. It does not demand its own way. It's not irritable, and it keeps no records of being wrong. It does not rejoice when injustice happens, but instead rejoices when the truth wins out. And then last, love never gives up. It never loses faith. It's always hopeful and endures through every circumstance. Basically, these 6 different characteristics, I think I had my numbers off, but these 6 different characteristics describe love. And he basically says this is how you can tell if it's love or not. And the cool part about this, when I counsel people, I actually encourage them as married couples, because we go through this list. I said you can actually take and develop love because these are the characteristics. It's not just like this nebulous word. You can develop these characteristics inside of you and you can grow in love, which is such an important thing for us to think about. Now listen, I'm about the farthest from like the touchy-feely, hippy-dippy pastor you're ever going to find. There are plenty of them for sure. I'm like the guy who likes guns, bourbon, and my own personal space, okay? Like I'm not that like touchy-feely guy, but as I read through Paul's words and as I read through the Bible, I see so often that it's like, man, we need to grow in love. I need God to touch my heart and to soften it. And I think that for us, just like the people who are talking to Paul, they kind of want all these things. They want to be able to accomplish great things. And Paul says, make sure the first thing is that you just give God access to your heart to make your heart like his. I think we can get it wrong. In fact, verse 13, he says this, 3 things will last forever: faith, hope, and love. And just first of all, bravo, Paul. That's one of the greatest lines I think I've ever heard penned in history. The wisdom of that is insane. Faith, hope, and love. These are the 3 things that'll last forever. But then he says this, the greatest of these is love. And that's astounding for us, isn't it? To think that that is the greatest. Reflect with me for a second. Are you lacking in love? Have you pursued maybe some of these other things? You've pursued knowing more about God or getting his spiritual gifts so you could accomplish something for him. But have you stopped and just prayed, God, would you touch my heart and give me your love? I want to see the world with your eyes. I want to care for people the way that you care for them. And then would you do me a favor and would you act? Would you look through this list of how Paul defines love? And would you look at one of them and say, which one do you need to grow in this next week? What do you need to do to become more loving? If you could develop one of those areas, pick it out. In fact, I'd love to see you. Throw it in the comments. Let me know which one you want to work on. I'll let you know what mine is as well, because I think we all need to grow in love. Move forward by faith today.